figure out how to use this
You have to tape
space. It's being taped.
Okay, good.
So we'll have a record of it, and then as we go along, your comments will be taken down,
Yes.
and we will present them back to you with all the other people's comments after we've had a chance to have them all. I'm going to pass around some. Sign in, please.
All of those will pick up? Okay, thank you.
Are you going to stand back there?
Yeah, because I'm gonna run on this wall. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's okay, that's okay.
So I'd like to welcome you all this evening to the Downtown Benton Harbor Forums. I appreciate you coming to give us your points of view and to listen to one another about how you think things are here. I've given you some agendas that have our objectives for tonight, at least what we're starting out with, and some questions. And I would like to introduce Marion Triplett. Marion is our moderator for the evening. She will help us keep the conversation flowing and hopefully make sure that we hear from each one of you since you've come to see us and do that. So I'd like to say one other thing, which is that the purpose of the Downtown Development Authority, according to the ordinance, is for the ongoing maintenance, promotion, security, and operation of the downtown district. And that is meant to help halt and reverse any of the deterioration that we have been seeing for years. That's the purpose, and there are a number of different ways that that's supposed to take place. But at this point, we are not funded. So any work that we do in downtown is done by donations, small donations that we put together from interested stakeholders. We hope to use this data that we're collecting from you and what we've learned during the master planning process through that community engagement to put together a detailed downtown development plan as soon as we can identify the funding for it. And that's where we are. I'd like to, maybe you want to start with the question of why they're here, why they came? I'll let you do it. So I'll let Marion take over. And for those of you who are just coming in, there's a yellow legal pad. I'd ask you to sign in. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm Marion Triplett, and in the spirit of full transparency, I'm a licensed clinical social worker and faculty for Western Michigan University School of Social Work. I'm based here in Benton Harbor, but I'm here tonight. I'm also a doctoral student at Western in organizational change leadership. And my focus is organizational change specifically with communities and individuals. And so my comprehensive exams, if you remember or know people who talk about writing for days as part of their comprehensive exams, mine are demonstration-based. So I'm expected to go out once I've finished all my classes and demonstrate that I understand how to do organizational change. So for the DDA and the city and the residents, my presence and my work here on this project, it is pro bono. There is no cost to that. So I'm glad and honored to be able to work with you all tonight. So just so you know who I am and why I'm here and what the exchange is, right? Because everything is something. Okay. So, and there may be people that continue to come in, but I'd really like to kind of center us all tonight just by asking you all, what do you hope comes out of tonight's session? What do you hope to gain? What do you hope to see happen? You know, what brings you out in the large sense? We'll go through the agenda, but just broadly, what are your hopes? And I'm using green because it's spring and new growth and money and everything, prosperity. So what do you hope to see from tonight's session? And I did say I'm a faculty, so I will call on you if you don't, but come on, let's talk it out. A plan?
A plan of like, trying to get people moving in the same direction around a plan, whatever that plan is.
Yeah.
We don't know where we're going if we don't have a map.
All right. Yeah. Somebody else. Say that again?
A collective plan of a vibrant vision
Yeah.
and a way to sustain it, right? Because we don't receive funding. How do we?
Vocal support from the elected officials of this collective plan, underscoring the importance of our downtown.
Yes. Okay, someone else.
For small business.
We did a pretty extensive list the last time we had this meeting, and so I'm sure work into whatever plan it is. But I think it would be beneficial if we knew what instituted the Downtown Development Authority. There's a process that happened, and something made that as a necessity that organization or that board was formed. And I'd like Mr. Little to speak to that. I mean, when cities were changing and people were moving out to the suburbs and building malls and places, the downtown suffered from that. And we're still at a place of needing change. But part of that happened because people were moving out and abandoning the cities. And now we're trying to rebuild that or rehash that and get it back to where it should be or could be. And that's part of what we're talking about when we're talking about downtown development.
How about a few more? What do you hope happens out of tonight's session? The energy.
Out of tonight's session, I was hoping to actually hear a plan that's already in place. Because it's been, 23, 24 years now that I've been in these conversations at the planning table and everything. Past management passed up funds for this very thing when they had the Main Street funding. Several times. The funding was available through the state. And I think it was called Main Street. Funding that was for specifically downtown areas. and there was no action. It got past us. But I guess my hope was that I was going to actually hear a plan that was in place. I didn't know what the DDA was, and I didn't even know it existed, because I think that it lay dormant for a while, and emergency manager resurrected it. And when I was digging to find out what it was and how it functions, just knowing that, as I said, on the St. Joe River Authority and how it got its funding, Brownfield Authority and how it got its funding, I wanted to know about the DDA as well. And I was told that, the person that gave me the information was that it got kind of heated, because they were telling me that, well, we can actually put a millage or a tax on the community. And that right there was like a red flag to me, because we were during a time then where there was a lot of distrust and everything going on as it was. So I just want to hear a plan. A plan.
Yeah, yeah. Got 2 more in the back, yes.
In addition to what was already said,
Mhm. One more. Yes.
I'd like to see greener, more colorful downtown. Spill over into the inner city. Because the head and the body should all reflect on each other.
Good, good. Well, I will tell you that the outcomes, the answers, the responses, your ideas, your concerns from tonight will be added to, there's one more session tomorrow, and then all of that will be compiled, right? And an analysis and provided to DDA and be available for you all to see, right? And to keep that energy going for that action, right? This time. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you all. Thank you. So let's shift a little bit and let's talk about what strengths do you see in downtown and what opportunities can we look forward to? And I know it says 5, but there's more than 5 people in this room, so I think the benefit is to hear them, because there's programming that can help analyze that, right? So I don't want to limit anybody tonight. You weren't at the first, or some of you were, a few of you were. You might not be there tomorrow. So let's just talk about ideal making, right? So what are the strengths as you see? Who's first? What strengths?
New development.
New development. Come on, let's keep it going.
Hope. I feel like we're going in the right direction.
Thank you. Somebody else? What's strength?
For what we're doing today.
Okay, conversation of today, huh?
Would just say continuation. A lot
Yeah?
done since
Yes.
I think there's a lot that needs to happen downtown, so even if you do something, it's
Yes.
progress.
Someone else. What strengths?
I think there's interest in, not just within the city of Benton Harbor, but in the broader Southwest Michigan and tourists who are interested in what's going on.
Guess I'll take it back to the beginning of when growth actually started into a text that I just got, because transparency is very important,
Yes, ma'am.
especially if you want the city of Benton Harbor behind an idea, because it was kind of hard to get them to see the vision that, of what little growth, well, no, that's a lot of growth that has taken place. That there's some residents that actually want to hear and see what's going on, and I guess the citizens, taxpayers' audio is not on. We have a system that allows us to be seen and heard on YouTube.
Okay.
Actually, it is not working. Clerk set this up previously for the committee meeting that just ended. And she said that it is not
I can
working.
turn it on. You need me to get it?
No, and it is
Oh, okay.
on
If you want it to be kept.
recording.
Okay,
now.
see, that's that transparent thing.
It's being recorded.
Okay,
Got it going.
let me let her know. This is the commissioner.
Okay, all right. Okay, okay. So you're saying that the activity should be available to everyone to see the process, right? To see and hear the process of how decisions were made and what actions are going to come from that, right? Every step of the way, right? Okay, good. What else? Someone else. What are some of the strengths, right? Have you? Location. Yeah, because if you're talking about a vibrant downtown, what does vibrant bring to your mind? When you think about vibrant, what would that look like if I raised this blind? How would I know it was vibrant?
A flower that has bloomed.
Inclusion. What else?
Moving around shopping, buying groceries.
So when you say shopping, spending dollars,
Shopping,
investing?
doing all the things that they need to do in order to sustain their lives. You know, in a community. We can go on and on about what those things are.
Your strength
What do you mean by, so speak a little bit more about that. You say community pride.
so like if you think about it, schools like that type, it goes back like it's something that I am convinced you cannot go anywhere in this world without finding somebody who knows about Benton Harbor and about like that feeling of just pride, having something to do with the area.
Of being connected to. Someone else. How about a couple more? You're quiet back there in the corner, over there in the corner. But I keep seeing you. Remember, I told you I was a teacher too, so.
You're talking about strengths.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot, the word opportunity came up, but there's empty, vacant lots, which are the opportunity for development. So I think physical opportunity,
We have the space.
have the space to grow.
Okay. Ah. What else? One more. What's burning in your mind? Don't let the moment pass. What other strengths? In the front.
Close tie to its surrounding neighborhoods.
sister city to, who's in the family? Sister city to,
Are they twin cities? It's a brother city.
They're not identical.
that's okay, but yeah.
One of the things I think we overlook a lot of times, hospitality.
Hmm. Is it just limited to the youth, or you want to emphasize the
I
youth?
want to emphasize that because we have a lot of negative pointed towards our youth because of sometimes, just due to sometimes damages that in the past has taken place.
Mm-hmm.
But I see a lot of talent among them. If you begin to search, a lot of them have beautiful voices, some of them aesthetic, many other things that I see in our youth.
What else? One more.
Nobody's mentioned water. We can't forget water. Our place on the water. Sister City idea just came up. I'm a member of the DDA, so I'm primarily here to listen. But a couple of us visited Niles DDA meeting, and we have a little relationship going. They hope to be our sister city in terms of downtown development concept. They're further along than we are, and they are interested in helping us along the way.
And so I would say to DDA members who are here, this is a great opportunity to share what you're thinking or what you know or what you're aware of, because you've got citizenry, you've got business, you've got possibly funders, but interested people. So we got a focus for the meeting, but it definitely can be an information exchange so that people are, don't say, I saw you, but I didn't hear nothing.
I agree with that. We're not here to be silent.
Yeah.
To Commissioner, former Commissioner, we're here to share, and we need to do a better job of that.
Yeah.
So we'll have a new foundation with a lot of input, but it's our intention to be very transparent.
One of the reasons that I mentioned our youth, we've got the Armory,
Mm-hmm.
which would be part of the downtown. There could be a great start with working with our talented youth.
I was gonna ride off of what you said, and I think she wrote something earlier too, with entertainment, all including the youth. I would like to know, and I don't know if it's in our master plan, the boundaries of downtown. Because the last time we went over that, it actually stopped at Lake Street. Happens to be the street that I live on. And actually, the electricity even, when everybody else's would go out, mine would still be on because I was on that part of the grid. But that I am no longer. And I don't even know why.
Let me answer that question for everyone. Downtown district, as described in the ordinance, begins at Hawthorne Avenue and goes all the way to the river. It goes in north and south direction, from the railroad right-of-way to the north to Market, south. And then when it gets to the river, it goes north and south along the river to the city limits at Empire, and then at the railroad right-of-way to the north. So it's areas where Whirlpool has their apartments, engineering facility, that's all within the city, the Downtown Development Authority. It does not extend beyond that.
Wait a minute, it doesn't extend where?
Doesn't extend outside of downtown. So it does not go up Pipestone Street. It ends at Market. It doesn't go up
Okay.
off of Colfax.
So Rich,
anywhere.
let me suggest this, right? Because not everybody's a visual learner, right? Got different learning styles. So what I would recommend is that in the final report, that there also be a visual in terms of map, because you're giving landmarks, but again, people have different ways of understanding distance and everything else. So I think a strength would be that there's an opportunity to inform the citizenry of the boundaries of the DDA's focus, of the physical boundaries.
We have a map, but we.
No, but I'm saying, if people tell you that they don't know, then you've got to respond to that, right? Well, you're asking about it, right?
I actually sat in a meeting in government,
Yes.
right here in this room, and
Yes.
it was discussed
Yes.
as to where the boundaries were. Oh, no.
But if he's
So
explaining
I
it,
like to visually see
it's an opportunity to give everybody else a good understanding about what they're envisioning, all of that, right? So you can include that, so that you have that, and people that read your report will say, this report pertains to these boundaries, this place in 49022 specific under the DDA, right? The focus of these activities pertain to this area. And then that way, for people that hear it and get it, and can imagine it and know exactly what you're talking about, great. But for people that need to read it and see it, they have that, and a map is good, because there'll be some people who'll actually want to walk, get out there and walk, and actually, experience it. So you satisfy the needs of all learners, right?
I have one more thing to add to strength. According to the research that was done to support updates, downtown Benton Harbor could support as much as 41,600 square feet of new or expanded businesses. There are a number of businesses that could expand or be located in our city. Apparel, books and music, gifts, home furnishings, jewelry, shoes and leather, toys, sporting goods, specialty foods, and 13,800 feet of restaurant. So that's quite a bit of business that could be located down here that is not. And opportunities for whatever suits them as far as any of these categories go. And we also have the State Theater.
Yeah,
The question is, why do those businesses, why do those opportunities want to do it in Benton?
What are
What are
the
the
strengths?
reasons?
Yeah.
That they want to do it there instead of a mile away in a different municipality?
And it goes to the person's point who said that it's important to know, what does the citizenry want? What will they engage with? Because you can have all kinds of great potential, but you've got to have it match what the people want to engage with, right? If nobody comes, it won't matter what it is or how new it is or where it is. It's got to match desire, right?
I would just like to add to what Mr. Hempel said, because it took me a while to understand. We just recently made some decisions to actually help a current business owner and developer and realtor clear some land for that purpose, for redevelopment. Because that's what we do, to try to entice some that may ride through our city to see what's available, to be able to build. There's just a lot to be done. I mean, I feel like I'm doing my part already. And right now, I've been so involved with kickstarting the growth of downtown that I'm ready to move up here now.
Okay.
And so are the residents.
Yeah.
They're eager.
Yeah. Let's get a few more strengths, Commissioner Kennard.
One of the strengths, I think, we have room for a grocery store. Many people have to take dollar ride, other ways of getting to the major grocery stores. You have little, small items from the little, corner stores.
Yeah, but you said
for
large.
something of a grocery store, major type. DDA came to the city some years ago.
Yeah.
And mentioned that there was funding to get something like that started here in the inner city. But I don't know where it went.
I think it's interesting, the gentleman just mentioned about having support for businesses and having that kind of support being an attraction to a business owner, someone that's wanting to develop a business. I remember growing up in this town, just making mention of grocery stores. We had Nationals, we had Eagles, we had Jewels, we had all kinds of, and those businesses were being supported by this community, by the people that live in this community. I don't know why it would be any different if those businesses were available to be supported now. It may be some difference, and I don't know what it is, but I do remember that it was a lot of activity going on with downtown Ben Harbor. We used to stand up on the corner down there by Slosses and look down and used to be amazed by the lights going all the way to St. Joe to the bridge, because it was a
Slauson
beautiful
down
place,
here.
yeah.
So you're pointing out a strength that it has been done before, right? So it could be done again.
We are having those conversations in our community amongst people that actually live here about the importance of keeping our dollars in circulation in our own community, because they don't understand what it's going to take to keep us growing if we are spending our money over in South Bend or Chicago. And, you know, you can't tell a person where to spend their money, but if you want your place where you dwell to start thriving more, then we all have to be engaged in the growth.
I think that's a point that can come, once you have your plan, you can talk about what's needed to work the plan. What will make the plan a success, right? What does it look like? What will people have to do differently to ensure that the plan is a success? So we've got a good list of strengths.
Mention one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I mentioned for our youth,
Uh-huh.
I say a great population.
Yes.
in here.
Yes.
As a girl,
Yes.
and that's been a lot of years as a teenager.
Yes.
When we would come from Chicago, come down Main Street, the biggest attraction was at the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd get to where the armory is, and those lights would be on, and the water shooting up out of the middle there. It was so beautiful. And we got such a great pleasure coming from the big city to a small city like this, and to see that armory going.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a great attraction for our youth to have a skating ring or something, because they once had a skating ring. We need our children to be able to come together right in their own community rather than to go outside of the community looking for activity.
I've
You
got
know
you.
what? I think that would be really something if the children of this community would actually see what I saw as a kid growing up with that fountain. The fountain was just a thing of beauty. There's something about water.
Yeah. It's on the list. The water in many different forms then. So when you're thinking about, outside of today's meeting and your participation here today, when you're thinking about things, you can build off your memories and your experiences, but you got to connect to the ones of today, right? Historically, it's got to be something for everybody, for a community to thrive. Because if you isolate an age group, a gender, a sector, then they will have the responsibility of carrying it all. Your vision should include womb to tomb, maybe in different percentages, but it should be the lifespan so that it will always continue to grow. You've got that wheel going. When you have stagnation, there's often pieces that are missing, and those gaps grow bigger, and that's how you have decline. So overall, you can prioritize populations or groups or types or activities. You can have a priority to your rollout, but your vision in the end should include the lifespan from womb to tomb. Because that's who's here. Yes, that's the way it is right now. Yes, sir.
Is there a Chamber of Commerce here?
Actually,
Pardon me? You are? One and only?
For
thus
a
far.
small staff of 3,
Well, I mean, is there a collection? Several businesses in downtown? regionally you include St. Joseph?
Mr. Little, wasn't that part of where you started out work? That's where I said you made it.
So all kind of information, little nuggets come out and you can put the pieces together, right? So we've talked about strengths. So let's talk about, what are some weaknesses or threats to the growth that you all are visioning?
I can only think of one, 'cause I really miss it, the little boutique, Ethel's Boutique.
That's you said that the absence of, that's a threat or a weakness?
It just got me weak.
Okay, got you weak. I'm talking about to the city. To the city.
Our leadership.
To the work of the DDA and the city of Benton Harbor, what are some weaknesses and threats? Yes, sir.
Leadership.
Vacant commercial property. I dare say stigma, a weakness or threat. And there's a lot of that.
Let's talk, let's flesh that one out a little bit. Yeah, stigma. What are you referencing with that?
When I speak of stigma, I talk about negative representation of us as a city. That may be any number of reasons why that negative connotation exists, but it exists. When you talk to people about Benton Harbor, they have a certain ideal about what it is, not just in the tourist area that it is, but also the people that live here.
Another word might be perception. How the outside communities perceive Benton Harbor.
And maybe some of the inside. But, yeah.
I would just say that the negative. We get called things of Benton Harbor and I get safe. Like,
Yes.
okay, calm down.
Yes, many times when they're having the golf course and other things, tourists, they won't come into the inner city because they have a stigma about our inner city.
PTA being here for the years that it was, did a lot to improve that. Definitely. Golf course, the attraction of the water and the beach, all of those things can be invented.
By the naysayers, it created some Benton Harbor people. Very few, but one counts.
Yes, sir.
General maintenance, upkeep, cleanliness.
Capital
litter.
letters.
What?
Capital letters, please.
What we have now will not sustain if the litter isn't picked up and snow is not shoveled off the sidewalks and the windows of the buildings are not clean and there's no lines on the parking lots. It's just, the customers are just not going to come for businesses. Or they might come once, but they're not coming.
The customers may not come, but the businesses that we're trying to attract, they may not come to begin with.
In the back,
I guess this falls into what I said earlier about implementation.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, once we have a plan, and following the plan, a lot of times there are things that pass in the city or are developed, but they don't necessarily fit in the plan that was already set out. And then a lot of times they also lack for urban design as well. So it's like are so focused on making progress that we're not necessarily.
Inclusion of the inner city. Trash, things that you see. So we need that to reflect the downtown as I was saying.
I want to go back up here to this stick. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Ash.
Accountability. I think we lack that as a community on all
I want to go back up to this stigma thing, right? Because I think that if we kind of float over the top of stigma, negativity, stereotypes, perceptions, especially media portrayals, isolation of inner city, you know, we have to talk about the historical, right? Racism and discrimination that's inherent in systems, right? Because some of that was contributed to what may have been intentional decline, right? The value of the community, the actual physicality of the community, you know, I would say only someone who had never been and never spoken to anyone and never read anything, they might have that perception, but you don't have that generational historical attachment and commitment to an area. You don't have the lockup of buildings. You don't have the ability to stay by the water. You don't have a zip code that has people with zero income all the way to multimillionaires in the 49022, and it not be something else other than we just didn't have the right idea. Because some of the ideas that happened could not come to fruition. And so as a social worker, you know, part of our training is to be able to call a thing, call that thing the thing that it is. And that piece about accountability is not just about current behavior, but you have to go in and understand those parts that are systemic, right, to a community's decline, and say we're going to have a different level of accountability, not just of the citizens of that community, but of everyone and everything that services that community. But leadership from the household to the boardroom, right? All across the line.
I'd like more information though. I would like more information on what Ashley even means when she said leadership. Because I've read my charter for three terms of 4 years. And back to the time that I've been involved.
Yeah.
I've read the charter and I know my responsibility as an elected official. I've gone above and beyond, way above and beyond.
Well, Commissioner
But I
Adams.
can't do it alone.
Well, and I think.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to know.
One of the questions too that is worth.
There's never a wrong time.
Is how do you change that? We've had, and I've been in meetings with Rich and with Lee and with others, and there have been so many great ideas that have been put out there, and then you'll have somebody who kind of brings it back down, and kills you, 'cause it's like, until you change it, and let them get the idea even that it is possible. There is something that is a positive step forward with them. It's not going.
Well,
How do you?
yeah. Yeah.
Not, I mean, it's not a, it's a long, but this is not a hair versus, sprint to the finish. It's
Yeah.
a sort of situation, but how do you start?
I think you got to start having the conversations of accountability. And I would be, I would not be doing my job, right? I would not be holding to my profession if I didn't say the word racism and discrimination and systemic biases, right? That also contribute large dollars, right? That shape behaviors, right? Policy shapes behavior. And then if you have generational shaping of behavior, then you have a culture of things that maybe that's not what's going to be in that community's best interest. But you got to be able to call a thing a thing. And you got to be able to say, if we're having the discussion, at this time, the discussion about brainstorming, visioning, it ain't personal. It's just having a conversation and having the necessary conversation to really have action to move it to the next stage. Okay. Yes, I saw a hand.
Well, yeah, Mr. Kennard had her hand up as well. I don't want to intervene because I talk a lot.
Yeah.
But when I mentioned about stigma, I was reflecting back on what happened when I talked about the development of the downtown development authority. The reason why it developed is because people were moving out of the city, moving out of downtown, and taking their businesses out to suburbs, and they were establishing them in outer areas. And so the city, downtown had to suffer because of that. And part of that happened, in my estimation, when we first started electing our black officials in the city of Benton Harbor. When the population in Benton Harbor was able to elect a black mayor and black city commissioners and what have you, then businesses started to abort the city. And that's just my memory of it, and I'm 71 years old, and I've been around here a long time.
Yes,
And I've
sir.
seen change happen in the city.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I would just like to, if I might add to, again, just an understanding that many of the things that also happen because that's the way they happen. Suburbs, right? Suburbs moving out, you know, those things occurred because that was the thing to do. It wasn't unique here, but it's what's left in its wake. And I think, again, you know, when you have people that are saying, I still believe, as long as you got somebody that says, I still believe and I still hope, right? Then you know you have enough to at least begin again. Right? To begin again. I see a hand. Is that Ms. Commissioner Kennard? Yes, yes, yes.
One of the things I think we don't probably put enough emphasis on it, education.
Yes, yes.
Our people have a long history, but it's not taught
Yes,
to our children, which can grow up with that knowledge
right.
and know what greatness had come out of their race. And when they can see the greatness that was once there, they might take on the
They can be
attitude,
inspired.
to be inspired to challenge themselves, and us as a people. We got to start investing in ourselves
Yeah,
and others. So we have to think in a more positive way of investing. When it's sometimes time to see a cleanup, you can't get it. Well, I wore myself out in the streets a lot. But we just got to come together as a people, not ask someone else to do it. We see what needs to be done, do it ourselves. As President Kennedy said,
Ooh,
he
go
said,
ahead,
ask, do for it. So now, we're not asking for what others can do for us. Ask what will we do for ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's invest in ourselves.
Invest in ourselves.
And
Well,
let's make sure that we get our children educated.
about who they are and what this
Of
community.
their greatness, where they come from.
Yes, yes.
Many times the Sphinx, the noses was shot off because they didn't know that, want us to know what greatness we came from. There was a greatness there.
Yes.
But if you damage a person time and time again, sometimes after a while, the person just throw their hands up. We used to have a full audience here. But time and time again, it was diminished because they said, well, they only fight down there and argue all the time. But at the state capitol, where the presidents are, what do they do?
Yeah.
Fight and argue.
Well, and so I think,
It's nothing different than for us to do it, but it's different. We said black crime on black crime, but that white kid go and kill up a whole family. So what is that?
well, here's what I will tell you.
Stigma.
But here's what I will tell you, Ms. Kennard. I will tell you and everybody in here is that you have to set the standard of what you want in your community, not by the examples of other people, but by what you want. When you use the terms accountability, it won't matter what someone else, somewhere else does. You have your community standards, you have your household standards, you have your business standards, and that's what you go by. Because if we all do what somebody else does, we will become extinct. That's how an entity becomes extinct. And so I think you all have done a great job with this part of the discussion, because some of these topics have been difficult, right? Some of them might have pricked here and there, but yet everybody's still in the room. And so I think I'm going to say we're going to hang on that there's a different kind of energy for what is yet to be. So the next part of our conversation is about working to increase entrepreneurship, because that's one of the goals of the plan. Right? So specific kinds of business develop, right? Entrepreneurship, right? So we heard a little bit about what's possible. Rich read about what the analysis said could be possible, but for those of you that are here today, what kind of entrepreneurship ideas, what would you like to see? Because it's not just about them coming and doing it and spending their money. What will you spend your money at? Yes, yeah. Yes, I start over here. I'm left-handed, I start over here.
So my thought was a little different. New entrepreneurs basically struggle with capital. They fail in the first few years because they are not confident of what they're doing. They're not. So I've seen in other communities where there are like these hubs or incubators where there are larger complexes or whatever, and you can rent out the space at very reasonable prices for like a year, and only a year for like about like $50 a month, where you can have a shop or where you can like sell your products and services. They support you with, they pair you up with like a bank that provides you with financial coaching. They take away all your barriers, right? So you don't have to take out a second mortgage on your home. You're not taking a high interest loan. And they set you up for success. And then by then you realize like what is working and what is not working. Several times people will come back again after a year if they fail with a different idea and try it out. It allows you a safe space to fail. And a lot
A
of
safe
times
space to what?
to fail. And then if the idea does work out, then they go out into the community and start their own business with something that has worked.
Just describe my girl Ethel. On Main Street.
I have
I see.
described 200 Pawpaw, which
Yeah.
was a incubator
Yes.
that sits idle with a swamp on its
He
roof.
left.
You're right.
Oh, gosh, he left. Oh, wow.
So,
Just want to say too, it's unfortunate that Director Little just walked out because that is a project
He knew it was
that's
coming.
near and dear to him that he is looking into.
What?
I wish he heard it.
Excuse
anyway.
me?
Make
okay.
sure he hears it.
Yep, but it's taped, right? And it'll be written up, right? And you all, the conversation is not just over today, right? That accountability is not just here, right? Sometimes, though, it is in the delivery and the timing. Timing can be everything. So, but that's just one spot, and that would have, while it might be good, there's a limit, right? So what other kind of entrepreneurial businesses? Yes, sir.
And forgive I'm still a young man compared to people that are in elected office, community leaders. My perspective is one of only what I've seen. One thing I think we don't talk enough about, and Mrs. Triplett, we were on a panel together, the word entrepreneurship means a lot more than just owning a business. Sometimes it's a spirit, it's a mindset that has to be cultivated. To go on a site called Fiverr, I talk about it a lot, you can get graphics design, workshops, you can get voiceovers. These are people in their home marketing themselves and a skill that they have. They haven't gone out and gotten a loan, brick or mortar, they have a skill that they're marketing to see if they can build a following and a base that's strong enough to support the idea of a business to go into a business plan. I think what we do a lot of is we'll create the business, we'll put the logo out, we'll make our Facebook post, and within 3 months that business is gone. And I think that has to be an integral part of the conversation is, are we setting the businesses up for success or just to be visible? To say that we have business.
Keep going. Yep.
The thing that I think undercuts all of this is the ability to have something in your back pocket that no one can take away. And it goes back to that conversation. But in the 21st century, 2024, the traditional degree is not getting you as far as it used to. What's getting people out of poverty and into the middle class is skilled trades. It's plumbing, pipe fitting, workshopping. But that doesn't mean that's all you have to do. You get that certification, you work there, you can build up a big enough base. I think a lot of people today, you have to be double-minded a bit. I started Berrien Forward. We've hired employees. It's my full-time job. But I'm also a county commissioner. I also work in nonprofits. I worked as a social worker with this thought process in mind down the street. To build up, to know enough people, to meet enough people, to be able to grant write. It's not something I could have just jumped into. And that's the second thing I kind of want to point on is finance is something I think that brings down a lot of business. Not being able to run a QuickBooks, not having the trainings of how you keep your finances in order, how you can produce a profit loss statement, a balance sheet. Because if you're going to a funder and you're saying, I have a great idea, I want to get funded, but you can't show you know how to manage the money, I don't know if you can always point and say that's just systemic racism. Sometimes that's a bar that we have to meet as a people. We have to make sure that we are ready and equipped to meet that bar.
Miriam, you know who we just heard? We just heard, because those that may not know, this is not my first rodeo with Miriam, because we've tried to tackle these type of issues with our young people years ago, and I think the timing that you mentioned was everything, because I think that some things are about to come back around that really needed for our young people, and it's that mindset that he's talking about that we know exists. And he was one of them. He was meant to be in the forefront of this thing, and hopefully he will continue to do exactly what he's doing, because I frankly think that he's hard to replicate, but I think that he would be a good spokesperson for these young men as well as women. You know, he just described something that I got thrown off course when I came in, being a very lucrative beautician, making good money. And then I was called to duty to service down here. Just threw my whole plan of opening up and owning my own beauty school out the window. Finances and all, but it wasn't about just me, because I grew up here. I saw my community suffering. And still trying to do hair and work down here for a $25 stipend per meeting. I mean, but God was good.
Commissioner Adams, yeah, we got some more hands up. And so I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to add to the list.
It's that mindset.
Absolutely. That is one thing. Yes, ma'am.
Not really clear on this conversation, but
It's around entrepreneurship at this stage. Yes, ma'am.
I can speak to this because I'm a previous entrepreneur.
Yes.
I didn't have really issues with financing. I had no issues with running a QuickBooks. I had a business for about 3 years. I was in Benton Township. The problem I ran into is my rent was really expensive, so I thought about coming to downtown Benton Harbor. Here's why I didn't. I decided to close. I didn't come because what you do a lot of times when you're researching a business, you sit and you watch the traffic. You know, you can talk to any successful fast food restaurant chain. You don't have to believe me. This is what you do. You do research. And the problem is when I did the research, I didn't see the foot traffic. And I said, well, I don't want to come downtown. This is probably about 2 years ago now. I didn't want to come downtown Benton Harbor because I didn't want to be in a situation where there was no traffic at all. It was just very slow from that perspective, from the research. And even when I looked into doing franchising, they did the research. These are people that do this for a living. And they were saying no. When you do a franchise, they have to approve your location a lot of times. And they were saying no. It was just very, very slow. Now, I know as we go on, it's busier and busier. As more businesses come in, things get better. But I'm just giving a realistic state of mind that it's not that a person's uneducated all the time. I didn't have a problem with money. So no one can say, oh, she didn't know how to get financing. I had financing. Cornerstone also offers help for businesses if you need help, you know, learning QuickBooks or learning things. Some of it could just be currently the foot traffic is a little slow. And when you open a business, you do want to succeed. You can take a loss for an amount of time, but, you know, after so long, you need to turn a profit. And so that's just something that I think that we have to look at is, you know, we have to, and also we have to just support each other, support downtown businesses to drive more businesses into Benton Harbor.
And you know, I think one of the points that you included in what you shared through your experience is also that it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all. There will be young people who may need one particular approach. There will be another group of potential business people who will need something else. And then yet there'll be yet a third, right? It won't be like there's one answer that will walk through this door and everybody will say, it's the answer for me. And so I think your statement as you were closing about supporting, I think that has to be there as well, right? You have to support what is going on at the stages that it's going on. And if yours isn't ready, because maybe the foot traffic, like your example, is not yet ready for this great business that you have to bring, you can still support what is happening at that time, right? It's a preparatory kind of evolution type of thing. I saw a hand. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that foot traffic is the most important business to come. It doesn't matter if it's an entrepreneur or franchisee, like the young lady's talking about. There's two things, I'm listening, no one's really ever mentioned what's going on with Whirlpool. I mean, they are, I mean, it just looks to me like sort of deep pockets in this community. They're also the ones that are building these apartments here, which create the foot traffic. You definitely need more, people living in the downtown to support these businesses. At the end, the result is they have a nicer downtown to raise more sales. I think you need an anchor. And, you know, there's thousands of cities around America that in the same position as Benton Harbor. Model for how they improve their downtown is usually one large anchor comes in, business, that creates a lot of foot traffic, and then business creates more business. I mean, we're talking about entrepreneurs, and I think that's wonderful. It is. But is anybody talking to a large franchise, large entertainment business?
Something
that could
big, huh?
bring something big in.
This is just really, really quick because we have other hands. I've already spoken, but to that point, one of the reasons why the Orchards Mall has been something I've been working tirelessly on. Arthur Havlicek, president of the chamber, he tells me every time I see him that if you look at the geographic data and the targeting of cell phones, a vast majority of our residents in Berrien County are going to the University Park Mall in South Bend to do their shopping. We have the people here to support a business base. They're leaving to go find what they're looking for somewhere. Simple as that.
At one time, we had the young people, even the skill center, and they would win every year with automobile, I guess, working, putting it together. And the tech center was a great resource as the children learning how to run the lathe, fashion merchandising, nursing. It was many skills that they learned from there at the tech center and the skill center. That was not any. It's not existing any
Right.
longer.
I said former.
But
Yep,
this was
former.
a skill that was there right in the school, and it's being taught, having skill centers, tech centers, other places. That was a great resource we had there. With the debt forgiveness of the school back here, there's room for that to take place again in our community to start as early as possible with our children and getting them into fields that they might have a love for.
Well, it sounds as if, at least in this session, the idea about entrepreneurship, there are experienced people who have attempted that, and the market may not have been ready for that. There are people who maybe would like to do that. And then there's this idea, I'm hearing a lot about preparation from a lot of different areas. Because again, if you think just of one group, then you're putting it all on that group to be the turnaround. And so you've got to have a comprehensive, again, womb to tomb, right? Go ahead, Rich.
Comment about anchors. One of the things that we hope to be an anchor is the State Theater. It was given to the Downtown Development Authority as a gift for that purpose to bring more people. We're in the very infant stages there. That's one thing. Also, when Chokwe mentioned people going elsewhere, 90% 90%, according to our market analysis, 90% of the people in our trade area are trading, they're spending 90%.
Because they gotta have clothes today. They can't walk around butt naked until the clothes come, right? They gotta have food today. So I mean, it is a reason why they gotta have it now.
And we need to know, because we're all here tonight, what it is that's missing. What do you want to see?
Yeah,
Can't
yeah, yeah,
walk
yeah.
around naked.
Just to address idea of entrepreneurship, and I think we're kind of stuck in thinking that there are no entrepreneurs down here. Yet we have the Mason Jar Cafe, the most popular breakfast lunch place for miles around. Ghostlight Theater, bringing people in for great shows. Water Street Glass Works, a very unique public access glass studio. Citadel Dance and Music Center. The Houndstooth Restaurant. These are all highly successful, very unique businesses. They're drawing people from miles around, from outside of Benton Harbor.
Yeah.
They're doing something right. They're creating a unique business. The question is, how do we attract more people with unique ideas? And why do they want to locate in Benton Harbor?
I would just add on to that where my head was, is that, oh, great, we can smash lenses and, everybody wants to come up with, the next Facebook, but, this is about the DDA. This is about a geographic location. It's not about, all of the problems. The DDA's job, mission is to create a vibrant downtown. And I think what we need is very, blocking and tackling, bread and butter. I own Forte Coffee, and, I helped nurture Ben's when they were looking for a place. And, we've done some things, and yeah, obviously I know you have, and Houndstooth, and, but we need more of that. When people walk into our shop, I can't begin to tell you how many of them, particularly in the summer, when we do get a little foot traffic, they say, this is really cool. What's down here? Well, and we talk about the glass work, which for us is right next door, and there's a few other, we talk about your building and some of the shops in there, but it's the tourist foot traffic that is going to make a difference. I'll just add to it, people ask me all the time about that. Full disclosure here, Forte Coffee in Benton Harbor has never turned a profit. I've been there 4 years, and it's never been profitable. There's enough traffic that drives by, but they literally, stopping at that four-way stop, they just take their foot off the gas. That's stopping. So, honest to God, we have never turned a profit at that particular location. And I keep thinking that it's gonna come, and we need more bread and butter, a dress shop, a gift shop, a small bodega maybe, of gourmet food. I don't know what, anyway, so
I think that's
I'll
good.
hush up, but
Yeah.
that's what we needed. I think we're trying to bite off, and you should have a grand vision,
Something that you
but
can't-
in order to get to the vision, there's a roadmap that needs to happen.
We
Step
tried to
one,
build
step
it,
two,
though.
step three. So, anyway,
Ashley?
So I would add to that, because I kind of harp on it a lot, but industry recruitment to this area, particularly downtown with DDA in this plan, there's going to have to be a plan that talks about how you want your Benton Harbor to be the place that people want to be, especially businesses, because as you know, whether you're trying to revitalize a neighborhood or a downtown community, there's going to have to be some type of marketing strategy, incentives that you may give these businesses. Why would people want to pay
buy coffee after 3. Just so
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, no.
But many
No,
of
I
us
know,
still
I
drink.
know.
And I
I'm
do
teasing.
that, but you know.
I do, Brian. I do.
All right.
I do too, but when I was in Baltimore, like I remember, like
Gotta
we would go
market
to
it.
this. It was a 24-hour coffee shop.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is not
Yeah.
Baltimore, but like that was a place to study and work.
If
late
there's
nights.
enough traffic,
Yeah.
you could stay open until 8 or
Okay,
10
And I'm not trying to
But
pressure
there's
you to
not.
say, even though
No,
I
no,
love
no, I know,
Forte.
I know.
I
But I
love
lose
Forte.
money after 3.
Can I
No,
say this?
Wait, we need to let some more voices come on through, yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, because I know a lot of these businesses like Forte and Houndstooth and things like that, they're businesses that I frequent a lot, but there are people, like, I'll have someone meet me at Forte and they're like, what's Forte? You know, there are a lot of people who still live in this community who don't come downtown, and it's like figuring out why that is too, because I live right on Morton, so I'm able to walk down, and I love just being able to patron and walk from my house downtown, but there are a lot of people who don't experience that, and they don't know that there are that these businesses.
It is hard to get our people to see the vision when we have tried to do our best to close the streets in so that people drive slowly with the roundabouts and stuff to slow down to see what's building up.
But I don't think
People
it's a
thought
matter.
it was- Wait a minute though, people thought that it was really bad.
Yeah.
Just like they leave this community and go over to the mall in South Bend, they go to the casino, and they go to the dispensaries elsewhere. Now, I had to pull some teeth, but we got some business, some growth down here. You don't have to go if you don't want to, but it's foot traffic. And if you put ice cream or something else somewhere, and they have to get out and walk, then it will do something. I have tried to pull more teeth to get the dollars that come in from that on its own line item for us to be able to do separate development. I mean, I can't think like this on my own, but it's going to take those type of things to set that money aside in the city. Government has to watch its spending and think of more ways to create some more things to bring in some more money.
Mr. Lee Reed.
We keep talking about something that is an elephant. Density. We need more people, period. Now, every time you bring up density, all of a sudden gentrification is gonna be the next conversation.
It's always a conversation.
Hang on, like, let me finish.
It's not against you, Commissioner Adams. You don't have to defend your position on anything. Okay, well, let's let people talk.
We spent almost $200,000 for a consultant to come in here and tell us what we already knew. Anytime you say bring more people, first thing out of everybody's mouth that I've seen over the last 20 years, is gonna push us out. You realize we have at least 600 empty vacant lots in the city? Almost every other building downtown is unoccupied. Why? You start talking about trade area. Businesses go where their customers. They look for affluent people for certain things. They can almost tell you to the person how much money each person makes, and they'll tell you what type of businesses will work best in those communities. It's almost as it's intentional that Benton Harbor has been left out. It's not that we don't have the talent, the skills, and the ability. Anywhere in the city you go, you're gonna find people who are very talented. But when it comes to doing it in Benton Harbor, where are the people at?
So let me ask you this. Let me ask all of you this. You know, because as I hear you talk about this section of things, you know, all of these ideas are important and they're part of the solution, right? These ideas that your comments are informing where things need to go for the solution. But I think part of a gap area is being clear about servicing people who come in to the community, whether it's tourists or workers, employees of businesses, or the business people themselves that come in, and being able to have businesses that attract the citizenry and those may be two different things. So because to me it sounds very general, but I think you may have to get more specificity in terms of which particular businesses, you're looking for which particular customer, and making sure that you have both. That you have both. Those people that go home to somewhere else at 5, those are not gonna be the people that you might target for those, let's stay open till at least 9 o'clock. Those might be locals. But you've gotta have a vision that speaks to both types in your ultimate plan. It will take both. It will take all to let it grow incrementally. And I don't know that I'm hearing that necessarily. I'm hearing like one or the other. And I think you gotta have plans and ideas for both. Yes, sir. Haven't heard you? Uh-huh.
I would say on that note, I think these two things feed each other. I mean, to your point, Benton Harbor has one of the higher unemployment rates in the area. That means if you bring in businesses that are gonna serve tourists, you're creating jobs for residents. Once you create jobs for residents, you give them spending power. That brings in businesses to serve the residents who now have spending power. And I think this idea that any kind of development that happens in Benton Harbor is inherently bad, the kind of people that I hear that come from, I have to wonder if they have a vision for what a prosperous black community looks like. Their only vision of a black community is one of schools. And I think that we can have development, and I think it's development that can benefit the population here and draw people in. We can do both.
Yes.
And this idea that we can't do both is holding us back.
It's inevitable. Growth. All.
That goes back. There are people. They're pulling from their.
It started 18 years ago.
Bigger conversation than what we're here for today.
Ashley, and then right up here. Ashley, huh?
So I want to take that a bit further because you know what development does to a community. There are instances that exist in this country where even if you're middle class, you can't afford to stay in a community
Yeah.
anymore. So we know that what gentrification and displacement is and what the root causes of that. And a lot of times gentrification starts when policies and
Yeah.
development are taking
Yeah.
place. That's just the reality. And so it may not necessarily happen right away where people are displaced, but the reality is if you're not putting certain protections in place alongside of development, I think that is where what the issues are, where like you're only working one side of development. And so ultimately, legacy residents are ultimately going to be displaced over time. So if I think that at least for me, as someone who lives in this community and represents the people who live here, that is my biggest concern. I love development. I love luxury still. Like I like nice things.
You know,
But I know what that's going to look like for the majority of people. And so as we work one end of the spectrum, you have to consider other things like opportunity for affordable homes, opportunity for land trust, land banking, things like that. So, or cooperative real estate development, right? And so I'm not trying to fight anyone else's anything, but you have to work the other end of the spectrum.
you're on the right track.
Right here, right here. She had her hand up as well.
I wanted to just say my opinion about downtown before I forget. I know we're talking about entrepreneurship, but I would like to see like a larger park, and I would like to see, since we're a cold weather climate, an ice skating rink, kind of like the one in Chicago. We go there, or we go to the one in South Bend, and that would get people like walking around. So I like that idea, like a larger park, ice skating rink, and even in the summer, like in Philadelphia, I lived there. They had one rink downtown or on the river where in the wintertime it was ice skating, in the summer it was roller skating.
You singing my song.
So that's something that I would like if we, if we could get something like that. And that would get people walking, families could come and hang out and have coffee or lunch or dinner and, on a summer day.
I'd like to just add this. The Brownfield purchased the property down here and had it cleaned up. And I would hear the residents, they down there building, that's not for us. I'm like, the arts district is for you. And so when the opportunity came and we cleaned up that property right there by the tracks, I'm like, can we do something to offer that property and build something for them to come in and open up a business or something and make them feel like a part of their own community. And it has some more cleaning up that needs to be done, but I think that it's about to be electric car charging station, but it was the perfect opportunity to work with the mindset of the people to make them feel like they are a part of.
Yes, sir, and then Ms. Kennard.
I was just gonna comment to in the context of our DDA boundaries. If we're trying to build our downtown population, the population that lives within the downtown boundaries, there's nobody there,
Okay,
right?
okay.
We had 5 apartments in 2000. We've got 125 now, so we've made some progress.
Okay,
But we got a long way to go.
yes, we
Yeah,
do.
for me, the larger conversations about gentrification was this notion that you can't
Yeah,
displace over
yeah.
time. Because if the market downtown increases, that's just gonna move people to the inner city, right? And so that's all I'm saying, they all work holistically together, and so you can't talk about.
Separate, you can't isolate one from the
Right.
other.
And
Yeah.
the reality is, like, people should be able to live where they want to. And so why aren't there people down here, right? Like, there should be housing developments for all income levels downtown. People should be able to live downtown. It should not be a luxury thing.
Well, that was part of the,
Commissioner Kennard.
One of the things that we know about Benton Harbor, like community.
At this time. Yeah, yes.
One of the things we have to think, you see the Mason Jar and other places ran pretty much those locations, businesses.
food is good.
And food is good, but what I'm speaking about, you're gonna draw more of your inner city people if you cook the type of foods that they like. It was a place called Gladys in Chicago. People would have whole slew of people.
Yes.
Some things is sick, but
No, the type of foods that we,
what I'm saying, we can't change
I know.
the
But
ethnic
it should be
self,
available.
but we have to have something to
Yeah.
draw them.
It should be available.
And they should have that available. Say for chicken and dressing, and it's just sometimes you wanna go out and have something. They have that at.
We should do it.
No, they have that over at, in
Diallo's.
St. Joe there, at Diallo's and Cracker Barrel and places like that, home cooked meals. If we had that here in the inner city, it will draw more of our population
yeah.
to down here.
And so here's what, 'cause I think you all have answered the question about entrepreneurship and the areas that may need to be addressed before you get to plugging in businesses. But I would also like to say this, is that, again, many times what we say as individuals about what is needed references references us. It may not necessarily represent everyone. The businesses that we have down here, if you may not go to them, there are people that live 24/7 and 49022 that use these businesses. These are not segregated businesses in terms of their customer base. It may be that you may not use them, or the people that you know may not use them, but they're being used by diverse populations. And they're being used and contributing to some of the larger activities that are going on here. And so that's why I keep interspersing into today's conversation this idea that you have to have more than who you think. If you get your cluster of people who think like you and say, this is what we would like to see, that's still not going to solve the issue.
It's not.
You get the next cluster of people who think like that cluster, and they say, this is what we need. It's still not going to solve the issue. It is really going to take a vision that has space for what is currently here, because you don't want to lose these, right? You want to keep these. And you want to make sure that you expand and have opportunities that reflect different things. And I would say, you know, like you look at parade, when we have the parade, it's almost time for Blossom Parade. You look at Blossom Parade. I don't know if you could tell somebody's income because when you get your outfit for Blossom Time, right? It doesn't matter what your income is. You get your outfit and you looking good down that whole main street is filled with people who are there for a common cause to enjoy that. So I think that sometimes whether we are leadership or fellowship, we have to make sure that we're not excluding people who don't think like us, that we're not excluding people who don't look like us, that we're not excluding people who don't have the same taste as us. Some of these things, while they may be high priced and somebody might only patronize that business once every 90 days versus every 2 weeks, they still will have an opportunity, if it fits what they want for their life, to do that. It doesn't have to be either or. You've got to try to think about both and. Yes, sir.
So I want to give a unique perspective and then tie it back to what Brian said about what the DDA has.
What their responsibilities.
Responsibility is. My business, Variant Forward, our offices are in Vincent. So I spend every single day in downtown Benton Harbor, sun up to sundown. Whether I'm going to a commission meeting, anything, my central location is that office. From the moment that I get up in the morning, I can get a cup of coffee, I can go to breakfast, I can get Ben's, I could then go down the street for lunch and get Larks, I can come back, I could go to Houndstooth at night. Growing up here, that was never a possibility for me. And I had to one day reflect on how far we have come, and I think we sometimes lose that in the conversation of what can be. Secondly, I think the elephant in the room that no one has said, at least since I've been here.
Nope, sir.
As a county commissioner, I get a unique vantage point because I don't just think about Benton Charter Township, Benton Harbor, I have to think about the entirety of Berrien County. Right now, we were just dealing with, before I came here, I was at St. Joe City Commission, where they passed the playground equipment funding the planned use development for the grant. 17,000 on a low day. How many people go to Silver Beach? To have not 1 mile away a community that's talking about not having enough foot traffic, when there are thousands of people from out of state in this community, from Chicago, from Indiana, coming to St. Joe, I think that is a failure of a local transportation. This all links back to having connected communities. Think about being able to be a tourist and you're in Benton Charter Township where there are 4 hotels within, 1,000, 2,000 feet of each other. To have a bus that comes by that says we're going to downtown Benton Harbor, we're going to downtown St. Joseph, we're going to the mall area, we're going to Walmart, we're going to all the things you could visit and market those communities, what the DDA could do, of what it is there to experience. Then you talk about ice cream parlors and dress shops and gift shops. Give people that are coming here a reason to go back and tell their family members, move to Benton Harbor in Southwest Michigan, because there's something happening there. But to have a community that is a national gem, where people travel here specifically for a beach that's as much Benton Harbors as it is St. Joe's, and to have a population issue of foot traffic, I think is just a failure of marketing.
1,000 people every year visit Silver Beach. 650,000 people visit Silver Beach a year. If you just had the ability to attract 5% to come to Benton Harbor, you bustling the beach, downtown, people can start their day here, they can get breakfast here, go to the beach, come back, get dinner, get a cup of coffee, whatever the case may be.
And as a guy that owns a shop also in downtown St. Joe, I would be happy to give up 5 to 10% of that business and have it in Benton Harbor.
And the thing is, the infrastructure is already here. You have Dial-A-Ride sitting right there.
Yeah.
That is that could be a federally funded, state-funded,
Yes.
local funded.
Federally and state funded.
Right? It could be the connector. It's just about having the vision and executing it and seeing a shared vision where people don't say, this is just gentrification and you're bringing in people from out of here. It's about building what you have with what's already coming because you're missing 650,000.
I think though, going back to the marketing.
No, go ahead.
That even just telling people, hey, come here. You need to break away from the craziness. You want a place where you can go and gather your thoughts instead of having 20 people screaming at you to move so you can order your coffee. Come here. That's one of the things that I feel like Southwest Michigan as a whole we have, and
scared anymore, but one thing we have not.
But they're not scared if we get to the championship, right? So the streets around the high school will be filled it depends on what it is. You know, you gotta challenge that, because
Thing that we have not addressed is crime. Now, if all of those people coming over there, and I had about 20 years on me, I'd be looking for the night.
we're not addressing crime.
I'm gonna be looking for the nightclub. And I'm talking about a big, nice, elegant nightclub, where people like to dance and have fun. And I'm thinking back to the year 2002 when I asked this young man, when they used to come to the beauty shop and drop girlfriends off and stuff.
Don't tell no, don't tell.
nobody.
No secrets, don't get them in
Okay,
trouble.
what is it
Okay.
going to take? What is it going to take for you all to stay out of trouble around here? What would be some of the things to help? And the first thing that came out of his mouth was, these are high school students now, a skate ring. I said, okay, got you. Now, how many security guards am I gonna have to have? Security guards, yeah, because y'all not tearing up my stuff. And this very kid is doing 45 years.
I
What-
think
what-
to
and-
respond back to that, because I grew up with the same,
Yeah.
I heard it a lot. I think one of the failures of the leadership in this community has been to allow the idea of crime, allow the idea of people fighting and breaking things, to stop you from continuing to do the thing that was going to be beneficial. Oh, because you tore it up one time, we're shutting it down, we're never doing it.
But wait a minute, but this does not represent everybody in our community. So wait, I just want to make sure that we're not generalizing to the entirety of this community, and that there are not, I was a juvenile probation officer, so I worked all over the place. So I will just say this, though. The one thing that I am not, on this blank sheet of paper, is that I think if you don't have the citizens, you will not get these things happening. You can create businesses, but without talking to them, and I'm not just talking about the foot traffic and the people that come here in the summer, because unless they also come here in the winter, somebody's got to be doing something over that. Oh, that's going to be 12 months out of the year. I think that's a very important point, but you've got to be thinking about the citizenry in terms of what kind of businesses do they need down here as well. And when you're talking about jobs, as Mr. Andrews mentioned about, if we have the businesses, we need the employee pool. You got to ask people, what are you interested in? Even if you have a tech center, you've got to ask them, what would you come to? Because if you don't meld both, I think one of the challenges of the DDA and then the larger city of Benton Harbor, Benton Charter Township, County of Berrien, is going to be to make sure that their decisions are made in ways that are inclusive, not telling people, but asking people and allowing them to have a say and investment in where they're spending their time. Otherwise, it'll keep going like this, because we got people, and we got birth certificates, so they're still making babies. We got death certificates, so people are still dying. It will still be like this. It's got to be inclusive process. This is a start, but it cannot be the only thing. And there are some key things that I hear, those of you who are larger in the know, that you know about, that you've been striving for. You still strive for them, but you've got to include the people to try to make it come true. Rich?
I just want to make a comment about marketing. I didn't mention it. Talked about what the job of the DDA is. Marketing Benton Harbor as a destination for business as well as for customers to come in to patronize it. Something that we have embarked on, the creation of a website. But again, operate with volunteers, donations. We're struggling to get content on.
Why is that? Can you tell, why is that?
Well, keeping committee members who have the skills to actually gather the stuff to go on. So it's
Because
not
nobody's being paid to do it, because you don't have the money.
We don't have
Right,
that.
Right, yeah, which is, I'm just like.
Yeah, just to like let people know, yeah.
That's,
So
it's
that's-
because it's all volunteer.
Right, so that's one of the things that we hope to put in the development plan. But also, I wanted to say about marketing in general, marketing Benton Harbor as a destination. For well over 10 years, there were cooperative advertising efforts that took place to bring Arts District doesn't exist.
You know,
It's not even on a map. We created the idea of an arts district by bringing the people together who were in business to talk about what they thought we were creating and to tell as many people as we could the same story about if you come to Benton Harbor, you're not going to come to Forte Coffee if you're going to drive 30 miles. You're not going to one thing. You're going to go to maybe 10 things. So we need to be telling the story of the beach. We need to be telling the story of the great places to stay, places to eat, the public art. At first, we only had one place to eat. Then we had two. But we had 20 listings in that magazine that we paid for a full-page ad in. And let me tell you, it was everything from a blade of grass in one place, to the mural that Ankan Lana did that kind of kicked things off. So people felt like they arrived someplace and they wanted to see it. There was something to do. So we need to work for that again.
and we do, but, and I gotta say this because it's always the elephant in the room, and I don't believe in this elephant.
We ain't got no elephants in
I
here.
think that we can let the air out of it. When all of this advertisement started, it did not reflect what Ben Arbor looks like. The people was missing. But I get marketing. I get marketing. I watched the very thing that did the separation even more so happen when we were trying to do this. And now here we are again. And it can be very frustrating. I know it is to me, to keep showing up and having these conversations over and over when we have to learn to find a common ground to live together. Somebody else must have a brighter idea, but there's a mindset of my people that I'm very aware of and conscious of that needs to be dealt with. And when I went to a conference, that these taxpayers in Benton Harbor paid for my trip for a whole fabulous weekend, but I went and I did what I was supposed to do. And I brought back what I went to. And here we are still trying to solve the same problems because somebody take bits and pieces of it and put it in places it shouldn't be. And it's not working. And I'm gonna keep on saying, because Manchester Bidwell Arts and Training Technology Center comes into impoverished communities and take out the best of the best minds and put them where they need to be, to put these people, my people, on a mindset track of where they need to be to want and desire and have hope and faith and live.
Well,
and want to dream bigger.
So here's what I would say, though, at the,
Somebody brighter got a bigger plan.
at this time, is that it's 7:30, a little past 7:30, yeah? And I think they want to make sure that everybody signed in who was here. Thank you all so much for coming and staying and sharing your ideas. It is telling me, I'm gonna have some feedback for the DDA about some of the other work that has to be done. Sometimes when you're a visionary, you get the nuts and bolts, but you gotta put the siding into place. You gotta put the roof into place. You gotta allow for healing and conversation of people that you might not think would be interested in what it is that you're doing. And you've gotta have space for ideas beyond your own, right? And so I hear the need for some healing up in here, right?
There's some significant growth that has
Oh, yeah.
downtown Benton Harbor.
Top of the
In
list.
the city itself, but I'm talking about in the relationships, in the working relationships, and the ability to support ideas other than your own that may be ready for now, so that they can go on, and that's how you'll get growth, not only, vertically, but horizontally, right? And have them be planted in. I really hope everybody signed in today, because I do think this has been a really valuable conversation for me to be able to give feedback to the DDA so that they can share. The expectation is of sharing, right?
The point of this and the one before this and the one coming up tomorrow is to have this conversation. And if you look around the room, you'll see that we have tonight, especially, all aspects of our downtown community. residents who live downtown. We have business owners who live downtown. A lot of us are also customers. We have our utility company, which, again, resources are important. Our elected officials are represented. We have some great community groups that are represented here. So I
Different
just
ages,
wanna say,
different
right,
backgrounds.
You've all taken part in that conversation, and we're continuing it tomorrow. So if you have something you wanted to say or think of overnight, come on back. We'll be in the library. And we're starting at 6, and we'll go to 7:30 tomorrow. So I thank you all for coming and for giving us a little bit of an insight into what you're all thinking about the future.
How they gonna help guide y'all? They gonna help guide the DDA. Y'all the DDA, but they gonna help guide you. How you doing? Oh my goodness.
My son goes to restaurant.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Oh, we got the #1 supply chain program in the United States. Yes, yeah.
Hey, thank you.
And who are you with now?
I'm with Indian Ocean and Power. I'm the utility.
Okay, yeah.
So I do have a piece of feedback.
Yes.
And I didn't say it publicly because I didn't want it to be misconstrued. I love every single person in the room. I do feel very strongly.
You've been here? Well,
Overboard.
That's why we had the heat. I can tell, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Contract.
I understand. And
Let me make sure this stuff off. Hold on. This thing.
hold them accountable. Let them do the work. You can't like micro everybody to
Manage,
death.
yeah, thank you.
And I also
Wow. Now, you based here? Are you all don't have that office anymore down there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's in Benton.
Oh, okay, that's where you are. Okay, yep, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. The whole regional part, okay.
I'm here a lot.
Okay, okay. Good, good. And then you're with, oh, okay, okay. Okay. 'Cause you all broke, did it break apart or y'all? Yeah, okay, yeah. That's what I thought. Okay, all right.
And I feel like as a utility,
Yes. Yep. And trying to get mind-blowing property. Yeah. No, I appreciate that, and yeah, I'm gonna keep helping. I'm bring my social work skills into something. Yeah. No. I don't know.
I sat by her for a second.
Oh.
And then you are like unflappable.